Lord, we need a message. We need a message for the people who don't listen to Fraternize with These Guys podcast. We need to give them the truth so that they may see the light and come towards it. To come towards us, to come towards the truth of your love and your grace and all the things that you give. We need a message from you. Speak to us.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he in the name of this podcast and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of the darkness. For he truly is his brother's keeper and the finder of lost listeners. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy our brethren. And you will know I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you.
We've received the message from the Lord.
Yes, I've translated it.
Please tell us.
It means kick it.
Well, happy mid-October celebration time to all you out there. It's a celebration!
Woo, celebrate.
I don't know what we're celebrating.
Mid-October. That usually feels good.
You know, it's like harvest season or something.
I mean, they've been celebrating this time of year for generations.
If you got Milo or corn or cotton around these parts, man, you're sitting pretty.
Would you say you're sitting in high cotton?
You stole it right out of Well, I'll tell you what, if you're a longtime listener, welcome back. If you're just checking us out for the first time, we welcome you for the very first time to this idiotic little thing we call Fraternize with These Guys podcast. I am your host, Pastor Pinewood, and across from this crowded podcast table that sits in front of us is our other chairman heathen host.
Easy.
Thanks for being on cue.
Man, I'm getting better.
Yeah, but you never miss.
Well, that's true. I never do miss.
What's that TikTok? God never misses.
God never misses.
Been drinking all day, goes to bed at 2 o'clock, gets up at 6:30 to go to work. Just don't miss. Well, we got a good show for you today, but I'll tell you what, I really didn't expect the word of the Lord to be made up Bible verse from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
That was a nice turn of events.
Well, you know, we got to keep you on your toes there, Pastor.
Yeah. Now, if it was in Ezekiel, great quote, right?
Yeah.
Great verse.
25:17, I believe, is what the original deal is.
Unfortunately, I'm just not sure that is, I'm not sure that's verbatim what it says.
Well, you know, so that may be one of the lost books. There's some lost sections.
What do you call that? You call that artistic license?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's just a polite way of saying we made that crap up. But probably one of, if not the best Tarantino films that there is.
Oh man,
and there's some good ones. I mean, for sure.
There's very few that are just stinkers. I mean,
can you think of a bad one?
By very few, I mean maybe one. I think Jackie Brown.
Man, see, I don't know. I like that movie.
And it was, but compared to
compared
Kill Bills,
sure, comparatively it might be his weakest. But at the same time, I think
it's still a great movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying comparatively to a beef Wellington, a hamburger sucks.
Well,
but,
sure,
man, a hamburger does the job a whole bunch.
Mainly because I can't afford the beef Wellington.
I saw a guy the other day online. He was cooking a deer Wellington.
Oh, dang.
So instead of the beef tenderloin, he just did a backstrap and kind of the same process. It looked amazing. It looked really good.
I bet that would be amazing.
But of all the Tarantino films, especially the original 5, and when I say the first 5, it seemed like he took a break for a bit and then kind of came out with some newer films.
He did some collaborating on some other stuff in between.
Yeah, Rodriguez and a couple of those guys.
Yeah.
Well, the first 5, of course, Reservoir Dogs.
Beauty.
And then after that, you got Jackie Brown.
Yep.
And then after that, you have Pulp Fiction. And then Kill Bills.
Yep.
And I think there's one more, but I can't think of what it is now. Or maybe the Kill Bills was 4 and 5?
I believe that was 4 and 5 because then the next big one that I can remember him doing was the Not the Ridiculous Six. That was that stupid Adam Sandler one. The Hateful Eight.
The Hateful Eight.
Was that a remake?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't.
If it wasn't, it was brilliant. I freaking loved that movie. And it got a lot of shit for it just because of the format. But people that were just coming of age to see those types of movies weren't used to the Tarantino format.
I guess. But I don't know. So I'll give the 10. The 10 best ones of him. And it says just the 10. This may be all that he's done. We got Django.
Ooh,
great.
God, that's such a good
Fantastic movie. Hateful Eight. Yep. Great movie.
Yep.
Death Proof I did not see.
It's
a grindhouse type
it's a
film.
Yeah.
It's not really my thing.
It was okay.
Inglourious Bastards, decent. Again, not really my thing. Kind of that comedic history. I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite thing in the whole world. Reservoir Dogs comes in at number 6, 1992. What a fantastic movie that kind of kicked off his whole shebang.
Yep.
Kill Bill Volume 1, 2003. Volume 2, 2004. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I heard was amazing, and I still haven't watched.
I have it, and I've still not watched it just because of, and it's weird, there was so much backlash on that one.
Really?
Everybody was like, this movie is such a turd. I can't believe I paid money to see this.
Well, that's surprising.
So I bought it.
Okay.
I just hadn't got around to watching it yet.
I've heard good things.
I've heard good and bad.
Okay.
And usually when it's, especially if it's a split decision or if it's heavily on this movie sucks, I'm probably going to see it.
Yep. Jackie Brown, 1997, and then Pulp Fiction, 94. So we had them all.
Yeah.
We had them all, at least the original 5. And I don't know, kind of when he was coming to fame, I guess you will, especially with Pulp Fiction and then into the Kill Bills, that was his 5.
Yeah.
That was what we knew him by. That was when we were coming of age,
yeah,
kind of our
buddy.
Tarantino days. But
which is funny because Pulp Fiction is actually the movie that kind of reignited John Travolta's career.
Yeah, which is crazy.
He had plummeted.
Well, he got involved in Scientology.
That'll happen.
That will happen.
But then he got that Quentin Tarantino scratch, so he can afford to level up.
He's doing just fine after that. Have you heard all the rumors about how he's like completely gay? Have you heard about all that?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Like people who've worked with him on set,
Yeah.
and J-Lo said something, and it's just bananas.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Once you get to 5th level thetan,
you're it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. I mean, you're asexual.
Now, is Scientologists? Are they the ones who get their own cult at some point?
I believe so.
Like, it would suck to live that terrible of a life here on Earth and be submitted to them, and then like you don't get a planet.
Yeah, that would be shit.
I want a planet out of this deal. If I'm gonna go through all this.
literally giving you millions of dollars. You better give me a planet.
I mean, even if it's a little one, I still want a planet.
Hey, give me a moon. I'll take a moon.
Freaking L. Ron Hubbard up there. Now, do you have your L. Ron Hubbards today?
I do. Not on currently, but I've got them in the bag.
They're always in tow.
Always in tow.
Gotcha.
Hey-o.
Or your toe is in them. Anyway.
My toe's usually in them.
Well, you're traveling again this week, and
yes,
we're
sir.
up here in the old barn at the farm.
At the barn at the farm.
And you did successfully today chase some ducks outside.
Man, I almost caught one too.
They've been skittish.
Them some elusive little critters, aren't they?
They're really not.
Well, I'm just fat. So
the domesticated duck that doesn't fly is about the most defensive creature in the farmland realm.
Well, that's fair. There's a big herd of them.
Yeah, there is a herd of them.
And I don't want to get pecked.
Is that what they call it? Build?
Build?
Yeah. I tell you what, so every once in a while,
I don't want to catch a bill.
One will get broody, where she wants to lay on her eggs,
Uh-huh.
and we can't have that because we already have too many ducks.
Sure.
So, like, you can't do that.
No more ducks. We're going to eat those eggs.
We got to get the eggs out from under, and they'll hiss first and foremost like a cat, which is a strange noise, and then they'll flat try to bite you, and it doesn't hurt per se, but it's definitely uncomfortable. It's a strange sensation to be bit by a duck.
Well, and that's. I would assume ducks don't have the same anatomy as like Canadian geese because they actually got like teeth
Yeah,
in that bill.
Yes, and
do ducks
kind of, but definitely not in
nowhere
the
near as
same
bad?
way. No, and a wild duck's a lot different than these ducks.
Yeah, so them Canadian geeses, I remember growing up, we had a little duck pond.
Sure.
And we got one little Canadian goose that decided to get randy.
Oh, nice.
And tried to bow up to me, and I punched it in the face.
Nice.
And I was like, I don't know why everybody's got a big deal about these things. I mean, he's going to bow up on you. Just lay the law down.
Right. I'm sure the Canadians are not happy hearing that.
Yeah, take off, eh? They'll just apologize. Hey, sorry, we sent the goose down there. He attacked you, eh? That goose is a hoser. We didn't even want him, eh?
That's hilarious. I think Canadians are super, super polite, except when it comes to their geese.
Hey, you don't talk about hockey, eh?
Hockey and the geese.
And geese, eh? You don't mess with those guys.
That's pretty funny. Is there a hockey team that the goose is the mascot?
Montreal Geeses.
All right. Well, we got some good stuff coming up for you. As always, we got libations and 4 questions, cinemize, Thinky Blinders, and Pastor and the Heathen lining up today.
We do.
Well, let's get to a little lubrication today. Let's start with libations.
Libations!
What is going on with the Oktoberfest beers? Is it because they're only around once a season? They think they can just release it and then give us no information?
I feel like that's probably what the deal is. Because this one literally has nothing. Like, so last week, we found some on Untapped.
Right.
And then after reading the can a little bit more, it actually had some more description on it.
Right.
This
Not a good
can
beer.
has nothing.
Yep.
Jack squat.
It has the name and the alcohol on it.
Yeah, that is literally it.
Now, it does say the Prost. So it does give us
Prost.
the cheers thing, but that's it. That's literally all it says.
Prost, y'all.
Y'all. Correct.
So what we're drinking today is coming from the Rar Brewing Company, or Rar and Sons Brewing Company. You can go to their websites, rarbrewing.com. That's RAHR brewing.com. And this is their Oktoberfest. It is a Marzen-styled lager.
Again with the Marzen.
Another Marzen. So we're testing a theory here to see if Marzens are supposed to taste this way and we're just bagging on them hard, or if that was just a one-off from last week.
I don't know. Surely they wouldn't make a beer that bad. So
you never know.
I'm thinking that's
You
the
never
style.
know.
It's like Marzen stands for in English, bad beer.
Just Americanize this beer.
I'd take an IPA every day over this Marzen.
Yeah, I would probably take an IPA
over the one last week,
which is saying something.
For sure. All right, so did you find anything about it at all?
Very little. On their website, you can click on their beers for the Oktoberfest. 6.7% ABV. It's a July release, full-bodied, rich and toasty, a dark copper color with noble hops, malty sweetness, and a balanced finish.
You said they released it in July?
I guess so.
That's interesting.
That's kind of an early release for an October beer.
So I guess maybe they finish it in July and then release it and it gets distributed, and by the time it hits the shelves, it's September?
I
Something
guess
like
so.
that?
I don't know.
Because we bought this a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. Well, that's interesting. And that's it. That's all they give.
That's the only thing we get.
Wow. Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah. So, with that being said,
All we're left to do is
crack
dive in.
it and then chink it and drink it.
All right, let's go.
Ooh, good song. Not much on the nose. Okay, I can get behind this one.
Better than last week.
It don't take much to be better than last
That's
week.
true. What'd you think of the old Beethoven there for the German Fest?
I'm totally digging that one.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I'll have to send you a video of this lady later. We call her the Spider Fingers.
Oh yeah, just
She's got blonde hair and it covers her whole face.
Nice.
And all I can see is little spidery fingers at the beginning. It's super weird. Okay, so great beer.
I want to say real quick, I like that they have pretzels all over.
Yeah, that's
this,
interesting.
All over this can.
I like that. I like that.
I am a sucker for a Bavarian pretzel.
Yeah, well,
with some beer cheese.
Pretty hard to beat. Pretty hard to beat, I will say. And man, if I had some pretzels right now with some German beer cheese, holy cow, snap, bro! It sounds delicious. So we're gonna forget last week.
Yes,
this is a better beer for sure. And I think they might. And I don't know how much yet because I'm gonna think about it. But remember, these are the guys that had the beer that I believe was the mango in Chile.
Yeah, it was the mangoes de Pilatas or something like that.
That was good. That was good. I'm surprised you could bring that back to the forefront of your old memory hole there.
Yeah. Well, we've also done the one of the. I think it was episode 15 when we went to Lake Fork. We did their Iron Thistle. It was the Scottish ale.
Oh, dang. That's right. That was all the way back to episode 10, sucker.
Yeah. Oh, God. It was that far back?
Yeah, a long time ago. You know why I remember that?
Nope.
Because the producer criticized that episode.
Ah, well, fair enough. Paleta de mango.
There you go. Say mango.
Mango.
Gross, bro. Do it right.
Mango. Paleta de mango.
That's just for you, Nicole.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, it smells like an Oktoberfest.
It does.
It's got a little bit of spice to it. Not much. It's got a touch.
Yeah, got a hint.
And well-rounded and full-bodied. I do like that.
Yep.
And part of it might be that higher alcohol content.
Could be.
So it's the
because that last week was 5.5.
Yep, this is 6.7.
Yep,
and so we're well over not well over. We're over a percentage higher. And I know some of y'all, maybe if you're just into domestics or you haven't ventured into a lot of craft beers, the higher the alcohol percentage, I think in that 6.5 to 9, that range to me is I really prefer alcohol in that range. It doesn't knock you on your butt so much. 11, 12, 13%, it's a little much. Well, and if you're drinking,
you're slamming it,
it's a bad night.
Yeah.
You can go back to episode 41. You can check out what happens with that.
You can downgrade yourself rather quickly.
Yes, and we have Eccentric Brewing to thank for that particular mishap. But
thank you over there, Jamie and Aaron.
But it tasted good going down.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed the experience thoroughly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You, on the other hand, didn't quite enjoy it as much as I did.
Just suffered through it a little bit.
Yeah.
On this side of it, looking back, it was a lot of fun. But this percentage level, like I said, up to 9, 8.5, it just gives a different, better experience.
I think something to do with the slightly higher ABV unlocks more flavor.
Yeah, there has to be something there because I can't think of off the top of my head a lighter ABV beer that has a full-bodied flavor, and it just almost doesn't exist.
Right.
So there's some out there, but this was really good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this one.
Yep, and we're having it ice cold, and so I'm not sure where a Marzen is supposed to be, but I'd prefer this to the other one, hot or cold.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's much better.
Yeah, I mean, if you're comparing apples to apples, that one was garbage, and this is a nice little tasty beverage.
Yep, and it doesn't taste like a Pilsner.
Yes.
Last week's just tasted like a domestic Pilsner.
It did. And it was the weirdest thing. So I'm really glad that we were testing this Marzen theory.
Right.
Because I didn't want to have several Marzens in a row all taste the same.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, well, we just bagged on that first one really hard. And that's just what they're supposed to taste like.
Apparently, we just don't like Marzens, I guess.
But this one is the Marzen Lager. Last week's was a Marzen-styled ale.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, I don't know. I mean, this one beats the pants off of last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, were you coming in with a rating for this guy?
I'm feeling a solid 78.
Okay, coming in at a high C.
A high C.
I'm gonna be a little lower than you, but not much. I'm gonna do a 76.
Okay, that's respectable.
And for a seasonal beer that neither one of us really like, we're not lager fans.
No.
Neither one of us, and so I think a high mid C for a lager for us is pretty high praise.
I'd say a high D is pretty spot on for the normal lager.
I bet you would. Okay, I feel I was gonna go somewhere else with that, but I'm just gonna let that one go. Y'all can fill in all of that information later. Well, good beer, man. A lot better than last week's.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
And Roaring Sons has been not hit and miss. The Scotch ale was really good, if I remember right, and the Chili de Mango was fair.
Paleta de mango.
Sorry, what does paleta mean?
Palate.
Palate? The palate of the mango?
The flavor of mango, I guess. Hell, I don't know. I'm not fluent anymore in Spanish.
Well, you only had what, one semester?
2
semesters?
2 years.
2 years of Spanish 1?
Yes.
Well, no wonder you're not.
Yeah, don't judge me, monkey.
All right, let's get out of here and go into some 4 questions. 4 questions. Easy. What you got on the docket for today?
All right, so
make it good, man. Last week's questions were good, but
goodish.
Not
they were
great.
goodish.
We didn't have any pig dragons last week.
They did come up at one point. They came up,
but we also had the aliens eating Bigfoot. So,
yeah, that's true.
That was pretty entertaining.
The Bigfoot smoothies.
Bigfoot smoothies.
So I've got one that I'm pretty sure you're gonna thoroughly enjoy because it deals with space.
Oh God, another space? Woo. Okay, we got the space lizards. We got the not bat dragons. We got the pig dragons.
They're not space. Well, I guess technically
they could be.
They could be.
Remember, they mixed with the space lizards later in the episode.
That's
so
right.
That was fun. So then we got the crazy little kips out there smashing up
Yetis and
Bigfoots, skimming digits off the top. Oh, Lord have mercy. What could possibly...
Counterfeit Yeti fingers.
Counterfeit Yeti. That's hilarious. This is like a whole black market. Instead of getting true Yeti fingers, you're just getting like what would you get? Oh, I know. You get the polar bear fingers.
Polar bear penis.
Polar bear penis. Oh, God almighty.
We
haven't even gotten to the episode. It's derailing.
I know. This is great.
All right.
Question number 1. If a bullet was fired in space, would the bullet continue accelerating in space until a max speed is reached, provided there was nothing in its path?
Oh, good question. Okay, before we get to the logistics of what happens in space,
okay,
what is to say that without oxygen, the bullet actually expels from the chamber through the barrel?
So you're saying because it's in a vacuum?
Well, there is no oxygen.
Right.
So is there enough force within the cartridge to actually make it expel through the barrel?
So we had this conversation many episodes back, and
did we?
I think so, about firing a weapon in space.
That's right. Yeah, a rocket in space, though, right?
I don't even remember. I think it was a gun.
Okay,
shooting a gun in space is like you can't do it. You got to have oxygen,
right? Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, upon research, we're idiots.
Well, I mean that goes without saying. But do tell us why, good sir.
So, a bullet can still be fired in space, even though it's in a vacuum, there's no oxygen or anything, because there's oxygen inside the cartridge of the bullet.
Okay.
And what's happening is when it strikes the primer,
yes,
it's igniting the gunpowder inside, which is then pushing the bullet.
Okay, makes sense. So you actually, I guess, don't technically need the oxygen in that chamber because it's building up a gas that expels the bullet.
Correct.
Okay.
And so when the primer is hit, that's causing the ignition.
Okay. Okay. So if that's the case, but the question says, will it keep accelerating?
Correct. So when a bullet is fired on Earth, you've got two pretty big things that are going to cause the bullet to drop and slow down. You'll have the wind resistance,
right,
and just the atmospheric resistance,
yes,
and then you have gravity pulling it to the ground.
Correct. Yeah, so you have a slowing down and a pulling down.
Yes.
Okay, so you have neither one of those things.
You have none of that in space.
Okay. However, there is no acceleration past the initial explosion.
Correct.
So I'm going to go no acceleration.
Nice. Ding, ding, ding. You are the winner, sir.
Okay, nice. I like that.
So, because when
Now tell me, did old Beezy have to do some exterior research on this particular question? Did you have to hit the old the physics books?
Well, I did reach into a couple of physics books I wrote back in the day.
Oh, okay. Thanks for bringing that joke back. I hadn't missed it at all.
I figured it'd been a while. I was bringing it back.
Thank you for that. Shout out to our Patreon subscribers.
So, the maximum velocity that a bullet is going to have is called the muzzle velocity, and that's as soon as it exits the barrel.
Right.
That's the fastest that bullet's going to be.
Okay.
So if you're in space and you fired a gun, the bullet will go at max speed, maximum velocity. So as soon as it leaves that barrel,
It's gone.
that's the fastest it's going to be, and it will not go any slower.
Okay, interesting.
So 3,200 feet per second
Okay.
if you're shooting a rifle.
I think say it's a
That
pretty
is a
fast
pretty
shooting rifle.
high-powered rifle.
All right, so let's say 3,000 feet per second, and you shoot that booger off, and just in open space, it's just going to keep on going. No faster, no slower. It's going to maintain its velocity.
Correct.
Okay, and there's nothing pulling it down.
Nope.
And there's no friction.
Correct.
Now, what happens if it hits or comes into orbit of something that has a gravitational pull? Or there is an asteroid floating around out there, or it hits an atmospheric pressure system like coming into Earth or something like that. Then what?
So if it hits an asteroid, it stops because it hit an asteroid.
Bullet's probably not going to go through an asteroid.
Probably not.
I mean, it's possible, but I'd have to do some more research.
I mean, you're probably gonna need something like a 50 cal.
Well, maybe, or
And most meteorites and cosmic stones and shit, all that stuff is like metal and iron.
right. But yeah, what you actually need is Bruce Willis and a couple of boys up there with a drill.
Drill that hole so the bullet can keep going
Go
through
right
without
through it.
hitting the
That's
asteroid.
right. That's right. All right, so that's interesting.
But if it were to, like you said, hit something that has like a gravitational pull, well, you're introducing a force.
Okay.
So that right there is going to cause it to decelerate.
Okay.
And mind you, none of this is in books. This is all Beezy theoretics.
Beezy theoretics.
So it goes to the moon
Okay.
and it gets caught in the moon's gravitational pull. It's going to start slowing it down and then bloop, land.
Oh, interesting.
Now, if it was the Earth, like Earth's atmosphere, if it got pulled into that, it's going to eventually hit re-entry.
Okay.
And at that point, it's just lead, so it's
Probably
going to
just
burn up
burn
on
up.
re-entry anyways. So.
Interesting. Yeah, copper and lead probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But even full copper bullets probably not going to make it through reentry.
No.
It's probably going to burn on
It
up.
gets a little warm from what I'm
It's a little
told.
toasty. Now, I'll tell you something that's interesting to consider. What if Elon Musk was up there in his car, right? So he
Okay.
launches up there and he's driving his car in space or whatever. And he fires his 30-06 and the bullet ends up hitting an asteroid and getting lodged in the asteroid.
Okay.
And then 1,000 years from now, it hits Earth, the same asteroid, like gets pulled in and actually hits the planet somewhere.
Okay.
And so there's all these little fragments of the asteroid or meteor. Maybe it's a meteorite.
Meteorite.
I don't know, whatever. Whatever it is that actually comes into Earth's orbit and might hit the ground. Scientists are like, oh, this is incredible. We got all this metal that we didn't know about, and it's like blowing our minds. And then in all of that, there's a 30-06 round from like 1945. just lodged in there somewhere.
Ooh, that could be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see the mental gymnastics they would have to kind of jump around in order
Sure.
to make that fit.
Mainly because you have like an infinitesimal number that the same asteroid is actually going to hit on our planet.
Right.
Because it's boogieing away from us.
That's true.
And I don't know, we discussed how big the universe is.
Yeah, we did.
I
think last
several
episode.
trillion
2 episodes ago.
light years wide.
Yep.
So I mean, it's got a long way to book before it makes its way back around.
Okay, I got one that's a possible. This one's more theoretically possible.
Possibility.
Okay, So Elon Musk still up there in his car with his 30-06, right?
Okay.
An asteroid's coming towards Earth, and he's drunk.
Okay.
And in his mind, he's like, well, I'll just shoot it with my 30-06. And so
Worked in Armageddon.
So he shoots a couple of rounds, and then that thing barrels into the ground. But he doesn't tell anybody that's what he did. And now they're faced with what we do with these 30-06 rounds.
Oh, my God. Did you see this?
It's bananas.
There's 2 bullets in this thing. Is this a time traveler? Is this a time traveling meteorite?
the Smoky Man's up there on the moon putting 30-06 rounds into the meteorite.
There is an alien race out there that is technologically equal to us. Maybe a little bit behind because that was an old ass round.
That's an old round, but they figured out how to fire it in space at meteorites. So.
Yep. Anybody talk to Elon? What's that crazy bastard up to these days? He been up there tootling about again.
That's pretty funny. He comes back. He's all sober. He's like, I don't know what y'all are talking about.
He's out of breath. Elon, what's going on? Nothing, guys.
What would you call if you got a ticket for being intoxicated in space? Orbiting while intoxicating, an OWI. We got to put a ban on your license, son. You got an OWI on your record.
Well, I wrote my license, so I'm just going to write another one. Prove it.
Isn't that interesting? If you get to a place where you're shooting rockets into space, shooting stuff into orbit, like you don't have to have a license. Isn't that bananas?
Well,
like you gotta have a license to drive to your job every day. But if you're shooting crap into space, you don't have to have a license. You just do it.
I think you actually do.
Who gives the space licensing?
Who do you think?
The space lizards.
FAA.
Oh, I was going with the lizards.
Because you're still going to have to pass through federal aviation airspace.
Yeah, but once you get up there, who's going to pull you over?
Well, like once you get out of the atmosphere?
Yeah, once you're in orbit.
Who cares?
Yeah, the space lizards is all you got to worry about up there.
Just shoot them.
I'll tell you what, we got the life ship up there. He's watching out for everybody.
Yeah, we're golden. We are golden.
We got plenty of hamburgers, American food, pasta, pizzas.
Shitty books.
And if you
lots of movies that are the books.
Yeah. If you slip us a little money under the table, we'll get you some of that Bigfoot goop.
Oh, hey, don't be. I mean, you're going to have to up your premium for that one.
All right. Well, I like that question. That's a lot of fun.
It got a lot better.
Yeah, a little.
It got better.
It got better. A little theoretical physics here on the Fraternize with these guys. Also, this is totally 100% bro science. So don't take anything we say verbatim. However, I will say,
I don't know. I'm usually right.
That's fair. It's a fair point, or at least half right, and half right's half the battle.
Exactly.
Joe Rogan's kind of like he's the king of bro science.
Sure.
And he knocked out COVID in like 2 days.
Well, it's all that DMT, bro.
I'm telling you.
You ever done DMT?
I got some here. We could try it later. I got you some DMT and some elk meat before you leave today, sir.
I got some ayahuasca. I want you to take some of that ayahuasca shit. I want you to roll that up with that DMT, throw it in some of that elk meat and smoke it.
And smoke it?
Over a bed of weed.
Oh, man. He'd probably done something like that.
It's called the Frankenstein.
Why do they call it the Frankenstein, dude? And if you don't know that movie reference, you can just get the heck out of here.
Get the heck out of here.
All right.
Hit me with question 2, Bubba.
Question number 2 is a little bit more serious.
Uh-oh.
When was the last time you met someone and immediately knew that you were not going to be friends? Last time this happened to you.
Oh, God. Usually it's not on an initial meeting. I usually...
Really? You never
believe
just get
it or not,
like a feeling?
I usually get feelings all the time. Like if I could pinpoint one where I was just like, yep, I freaking hate this guy.
Okay.
I'd say it was probably back in 2003. 3-ish.
Oh, you bastard.
It was this cat who was later known as Pastor Pinewood. I was like, this guy's a douchebag. I hate him.
Pretty sure the roles were reversed.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Don't steal my hate story, bro.
No, nothing honestly comes to mind. Mainly because as much of a asshole as I can be,
Fair.
I do give most people the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, that's interesting.
I usually come into meeting new people because I'm a people person. I'm a
Right.
social butterfly.
Okay.
So I always meet people with the best intentions. And it usually takes a lot for them to be like, nah, this guy sucks.
Yeah, but what about from you to them? That's really
They
the question.
probably hate me.
No. I'm saying do you ever get like right on the front end? Just like, nope, not hanging out with that guy. I mean, it's not gonna do it. Like when you meet a vegan, you're like, nope, not hanging out with that guy.
I just steer clear of that. I don't even meet them. So that's how I avert this question altogether.
You don't meet them, and you don't meet
And I don't give them meat either.
Well, he smoked cauliflower one time. That's as far as we're gonna go.
Oh, Lord. That was a bad time, Tater.
That's pretty bad. Every once in a while, I'll get around somebody, and I just get like a
Skeevers.
kind of, and I hate to say this, but a lot of times it's religious people. Now, I don't mean
I
don't mean like Christian folks. I mean like truly uptight religious people.
The holy Shiite fanatics.
Kind of, or like the self-righteous, or you're feel really important in your. I'm friends with. I say friends. I hang out with a lot of pastors because that's just part of the gig, right? When you're hang out with whoever you're working with.
Sure.
So you hang out with a lot of pastors, and I don't like most of them. Like they're just not people I enjoy being around.
Well, you kind of broke the mold.
I guess I'm definitely not your typical pastor.
For sure.
Maybe a bunch of typical pastors enjoy hanging around each other.
Well, maybe that's why you don't enjoy those guys typically.
And they don't make, a lot of effort to hang out with me, so maybe they don't like me either.
Well, it could be. They could be like, you see that guy over there? He's a pastor.
He's
and
a
he drinks.
pastor. Yeah.
Ugh, he occasionally cusses.
If you start talking about literal interpretation of Scripture, he'll call you on it.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous.
We can't have none of that.
We got to shun that non-believer.
Shun the non-believer.
Shun, Charlie, shun.
All right, very good. How about question number 3?
Question number 3. All right, this one's a doozy. I really hope you're prepared for it because it definitely belongs on this show.
Okay, got my lucky socks, got my cigar, got my beer. I'm good to go.
This is coming in from C.S.
C.S. Lewis?
No.
There's no Lewis after it?
No Lewis. It's a Friedman afterwards.
Okay.
C.S. Friedman.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably a bullshit name.
Yep.
Anyway, so C.S. wants to know, I think a deity is calling me. 2 times in about 2 weeks, I have found 2 dead animals, a black lizard and a black bird. Is this a deity? If so, who?
What is he? The owl is
I
your
believe it's
deity.
whom. Not to be that guy, but it's whom.
I don't know. Whom has to be the subject? I don't know. I'm not gonna talk grammar with you. But the question is a deity calling him?
Yeah.
And then the reason he's believing that it might be is that he's found 2 dead critters in his yard?
2 dead critters in 2 weeks.
Bro, I find dead critters in my house like all the time.
Apparently this person doesn't get out and drive West Texas roads.
Apparently not.
There's a lot of dead critters on them roads.
Not to freak the dude out, but I found a snake in my house not too long ago. Like he wasn't a very big snake, but it was still a snake. I mean, that's like the sign of the devil, right?
My wife would have shat a live chicken if she found a snake in the house.
So my dog got sick. So diarrhea sick. Nothing serious, but just not doing well.
Sure.
So she got up late one night and kind of threw up. So we had to clean it up. So the wife's dealing with that because if I go clean up throw up, she's going to have to clean up 2 throw ups. That's the way that goes. So I can't do that part, but I can do the other part. So I got her bedding and I was taking it to the laundry or whatever. And I came back into the little dog room and there's this in the corner, there's this little gardener snake. He's only like probably 8-9 inches long. He's not very big and he's tiny. And my initial thought was, my wife cannot find this out. Like, this will be a disaster
Nope.
if she finds a snake in the house. It doesn't matter if it's a tiny snake or a huge snake. There's a snake in that.
It doesn't matter.
So I very sneakily grabbed him by the little collar right behind his little face, right? And I held him up.
Put the leash on him.
Put the leash on him. And I just threw him in the front yard. I didn't kill him, nothing. I just threw him out in the front yard, quietly closed the door, and went right to bed because I was like, I'm not saying a word about this.
Nope.
And the beauty is that was 2 weeks ago, and she won't listen to this episode till probably another week from now. So I got plenty of separation, bro.
Nice. It won't even be a big deal at that point.
Nope, statute of limitations.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a difference between marital statute of limitations and then regular statute of limitations.
Okay, well, I'm hoping by then she'll be like, it's not a big deal. But if I don't come back to the podcast,
well,
she probably fed me to the snake.
Oh, fair enough. Well, she's going to have to grow balls enough to get close enough to that snake to feed you to it.
That's a good point. Or she could just chop me up in the Bigfoot blender.
Well, there you go. There is that.
Okay, but back to the question. What kind of deity leaves little subtle clues like a lizard and a bird? And it was like, I hope he catches on.
Maybe a Loki.
A Loki? A trickster?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my question... A blackbird. I mean, everybody sees those.
Yeah, and
those are called crows.
Most people have been around dead blackbirds.
Yeah.
Probably not that big of a deal.
No. Now, a black lizard.
Okay, let's hash that out for a second. Now, that is a little strange.
Yes.
And it's especially strange if you're living in, like, Oklahoma.
Sure.
Probably not going to see a lot of black lizards.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how long this lizard has been dead.
That's a fair point. I didn't think about that.
Because I have seen some very dead and decayed lizards, geckos and such, that do turn a shade of black.
Maybe took on a
dark gray.
A hue.
A hue. Very nice hue.
Well, if a deity's going to reach out to me, I would hope that he would make his presence known in a more applicable way than just sending me a dead critter every once in a while.
Well, I mean, the same could be said about religion, too.
It's fair.
Because maybe God sends you small messages like that, too. Well, I think God's trying to talk to you. Say, straighten up your life.
Maybe that's how all these televangelists. Maybe that's how they get their messages.
Kenneth Copeland.
Copeland just saw a dead bird 50 years ago, and he's like, God's telling me what to say.
He's saying, shit ain't right in this world.
I rebuke you, plague.
I rebuke you. I will strike down my fist with furious anger.
I think you start reading into a whole bunch of stuff if you start relying on, just the occasional dead animal.
For sure. If you start reading into anything too deep, you can really destroy your psyche.
You know what would be fun? And I'm saying this as an exercise. Please nobody latch on to
like
this.
An exorcism?
Nope, definitely not that. An exercise.
Okay.
What if
exercise?
Every time you see a dead animal from now on, or let's say for the next year, when you see a dead animal, so on your road, wherever, you make a note of what you were thinking of at the time, and then that becomes your manifesto. Because if God's speaking to you through the dead animals, then whatever you're thinking of, that's what he wants you to remember.
Whoa, man.
And I think that's your deity message right there.
I'm going to have one jacked up manifesto. If I can remember it, most of the time when I see dead critters, it's because I'm driving.
Right.
And I'm usually jamming or listening to podcasts. So if I'm listening to podcasts, I literally blank out. I'm just watching the road. They're dead animal.
Yeah. See, now
what was that? Was that a dead possum?
Now
I ain't seen a possum in a bit.
It's gonna force you to make amends with your subconscious. You'd be like, what was I thinking? I need to kill the president. That's what I was thinking. Then you write that down in your manifesto.
Fraternize with these guys does not condone assassination attempts on the president's life.
Them's jokes.
Them's is jokes.
All right, so maybe don't listen to that particular deity. I think he's sending you mixed messages at best, and probably no messages at all.
I mean, he could be just trying to say, "What's up, mate?"
Yeah, could be. Now, if he starts speaking to you audibly, let us know. Come back and check us out.
Yeah, hit us up at that point.
I'm definitely more interested at that point.
Yeah. I'm interested to know what the dark deity is going to say.
Me too. That's what I'm saying. I think you got to, keep a journal, a manifesto journal.
You think does a dark deity like that have like death metal playing in the background when he comes over to you, like patches in to your noggin?
I think that's too on the nose.
You think so?
I think so. I think he comes in with like Neil Diamond. Like Sweet Caroline starts playing in your head, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's a jamming song. And then he's like, hey, you son of a bitch. I think that's the way that he approaches the situation.
Hey, you son of a bitch.
That's pretty good. I channel my inner Rick from Rick and Morty. So it's just like a drunk old guy.
Oh, man.
This is a deity.
I was not prepared for that, brother.
That's good stuff.
Oh, God, that was so funny.
I think I got all the way through the last episode without swearing. And then for some reason, this episode just
let it ride, baby.
Back to it. It's in context.
Did you see any dead animals today? maybe that deity was reaching out to you saying, hey, you son of a bitch, you better cuss today.
Yes. Oh, man, that's pretty good. All right.
So just from now on, anytime you happen to curse on the show, you just blame it on the deity was reaching out to you.
It's the dead animal deity. It's the dad.
Oh.
The dadity.
The Dodd.
The Dodd.
The Doddity.
We have to make that a new shirt, and it's exclusive just for me.
Yep.
And on the back it says, hey, you son of a bitch.
Hey, you son of a bitch. The Doddity told me to say it.
Don't blame me. It's the Doddity.
The Doddity.
Okay. Question number 4 is just for you, and it's a good question because it happens to you all the time. You just don't know it's happening to you.
I might beg to differ on that one.
Okay, here we go. The Doddity told me to say it. All right. Question number 4. Do you ever feel yourself being or becoming annoying, but you just can't stop?
Daily. Okay, and 90% of the time it's
at
with
work?
my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could see how you would be a very normal, annoying presence
Yep.
in her life.
Oh, I find something and I'll latch onto it.
Right.
And I'll just ride it until she gets uber pissed.
Wow. So you go past annoying to pissed off.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you find the line, I'm known for finding the line and gingerly stepping over it and then bolting.
Bolting past it.
Just Usain Bolting past it. Is like, oh, here it is. Oh, I'm going to step over the line. Yeah! Cops, run!
So the biggest danger for her is allowing you to find the line. That's interesting.
So, I mean, it's her problem.
Okay,
If
fair.
she just gets rid of that line,
Oh, I see.
then I have nothing to cross over.
She just hides that line better.
And then I'm just a humdrum, boring guy.
Because probably wouldn't like you as much.
It certainly brings excitement to her.
Yeah, I mean, an annoyance is a certain type of excitement. I don't know if it's a welcomed excitement, but it's kind of like it would be exciting to be chased by a zombie, but it's not a welcomed excitement.
I mean, that's fair.
Something like that.
Are you calling me a zombie?
Nope, not at all.
Dang it.
Not at all. But you probably are eating her brain cells.
Oh, yeah, there's no dude about that.
Putting up with you. That's pretty good. So my dad and I had a real rocky patch when I was in high school, coming out of my senior year and into college. We just didn't see eye to eye.
Sure.
And, butted heads, blah, blah, blah. It's a classic story.
Yep.
And then a couple years later, after some separation, you start coming back and you become buddies again. And I would find myself, when I was with him, constantly talking. And I don't even know why. Just this feeling of like we got to catch up for old times or something. And I just constantly talking. And I know because I could see it in his face. He was like, God.
Shut up.
And he's too good of a man to say anything, right?
Sure.
And the relationship's growing again. So he's like, I'm just going to shut up.
I mean, he's here. I'm just going to let him get all this out.
But man, I would just go. And I knew in my psyche, right as this happened, I'm like, God, you're asking a ton of questions. Like, what is wrong with
up,
you?
bro. Shut up.
Sit in silence for the next 20 minutes. Like, try to do it. And then I'd try to sit in silence. Like, he's got to say something. He's got to, and then he wouldn't. I'd be like, so have you thought about it? Like, God dang it, every time. So that's definitely the most recent time I can think of that. But that's been, gosh, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're old, bro.
I just don't really, other than my wife. Of course, I don't know. I probably piss a lot of people off because, like I said, I'm a social butterfly.
Yeah.
So I'm bound to aggravate a couple folk.
From time to time. Yeah.
But usually they really enjoy me.
That's what you say. Usually after the aggravation kind of subsides, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually pretty good memories coming out of that particular
Most of the time, they are pretty good memories.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of like whenever you go too hard on a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll happen.
It was annoying that night.
I guess you could say that was. Wait, is this question geared towards a jab at me for that night?
No, not at all. It just
I feel like it is.
It just happened to weasel its way around to that.
You're really kind of annoying the crap out of me.
And I'm aware of it, but I just can't stop.
Just can't stop.
All right, good 4 questions, man. Let's get on to Cinemize with these guys. Beezy, you've got an interesting Cinemize this week. It's not, not typical.
It isn't, and it's not typical for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
The question itself is kind of an oddball.
Okay.
And then the amount of rabbit hole digging I did on the interwebs was definitely not typical because I don't do a whole lot of research.
So this one kind of sent you down the old chute,
This one, man, it was a wild ride. It was a very wild ride.
All right.
But super informative.
Okay.
So the question is, do you think age restrictions for films are effective?
Okay, so I'll answer the question outright, my opinion, and then we can go into what you're talking about.
Sure.
I would say it does. I would say it does the opposite for young people.
Yep.
And serves a purpose for certain parents.
Sure.
That would be my answer.
Yeah. I'm 100% right there with you on that one.
Okay.
Because I know growing up, I can't tell you how many movies we would go to and we'd buy a movie that was PG rated.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we would just go to the R-rated movie.
Right.
Because, I mean, let's be honest. Those are minimum wage employees. They don't care.
Yep. And if they do care, they're on a power trip, and you just got to, avoid them anyway.
Right. So really, the whole purpose of movie theaters was just to get through the gate, and then you're good to go. You can see whatever you wanted to.
That's right. You can stay in there as much as you want.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, that was a while ago. But as a parent, I don't know. It's weird because there's a lot of stuff that I know being a parent now, I don't know. I mean, because we had a pretty strict childhood on what we were allowed to watch and not watch.
Yep.
Like The Simpsons.
Yep. Not
Couldn't
allowed.
watch it.
That's
not
right.
allowed to watch that show.
Yep.
I really don't care for it now. I've gone back and tried to watch it, and it's just, whatever.
Yep. I wanted to bad.
I did.
Yep.
I really did.
That is true.
And like South Park, we would go to our neighbor's house to watch it because I don't think my parents even knew about that show. Because that was one of the first ones that I can recall that came out with a TVM.
Yeah, it was a huge deal when it hit.
Yeah.
It was groundbreaking in that regard.
Yup.
Groundbreaking in all the wrong ways almost.
Oh, yeah.
But again, one of those shows that have stood the test of time.
Yep.
And just solid. But I don't want to get off on that. So the rating itself is what you dove into.
Yeah. So...
And this is the MPAA rating?
The MPAA is called the Motion Picture Association of America.
Okay.
You'll notice that anytime you see a movie and it's a green screen that pops up with white text, has a funky little doohickey at the bottom, it said this movie has been rated G for general audiences.
Okay.
So the MPAA is basically like a super secretive board of parents that get to rate the films.
Really?
Yeah, so...
That's like the lamest Illuminati group ever.
Yes and no.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
So, going through some of the digging, I see kind of both sides. Do a little bit of devil's advocate on it.
Okay.
Because I can see there's at maximum, there's only 13 people.
What?
There's only 13 people on the board that literally rate movies. That's their entire job. And
so when they say we're the Motion Picture Association of America, that's 13 people.
13 people are dictating the ratings of movies. They're the ones.
Wow.
The MPAA is what puts on a G, PG, PG-13, R, and NC-17.
Goodness, 13 people.
13 people are the ones.
Holy
You've
cow.
got your hands. Your movie is in the hands of 13 people.
Man, that's bananas.
Yeah. So even crazier, there are very strict stipulations. So in order to get onto the board, nothing has been said how to get on. I don't know if you apply or what.
Weird.
But in order to get onto the MPAA, you have to be a parent.
Okay.
You have to have a child between 5 and 15 years of age.
Weird.
A child or multiple.
Okay.
Guy, mother, or father, doesn't matter. The maximum term is 7 years. And if you have a child, once that child hits 21 years of age, you're gone.
Weird.
Yeah. So 7 years is a maximum term that you can have unless your child hits the age of 21, and then you're out.
That's wild. Wouldn't it be wonderful we had those same kind of constructs on Congress?
For government? I know, right? What a novel idea.
Yeah, what a novel idea. If you're still in your tax-paying years, you can serve for 8 terms or 8 years, 2 terms. That's it. And once you reach the age of retirement, Social Security, if you're drawn, nope, you're gone. No longer allowed to serve in public life.
Yep.
So 13 people do all of the ratings.
Every bit of the ratings. So they have, to date, they have reviewed just shy of 30,000 movies and put the MPAA rating on it.
When did they start?
I believe it was 1968.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so they're
1968.
Doing hundreds of films per year.
Yeah, so the biggest year that they've done was in 2003. They rated, oh gosh, it was just shy of 1,000 movies. It was 957 movies.
Dang, son. So you take out weekends and holidays.
Yeah.
You're watching a lot
That's
of films.
a lot.
Like multiple films a day, several a day. Wow.
But that's your only job.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder what their salary is.
Dopest job
That's
right
a pretty cool gig.
Well,
However,
the salary could be, I haven't found anything on what their pay scale is.
Ooh, weird.
So here's the other creepy thing. This is technically a private entity.
Okay.
So movies that are being made have to voluntarily submit their movie to the MPAA for review to get their ratings. So not only do they have to submit it, they have to pay the MPAA for that stamp.
Weird.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you,
But it's not specified how, it's not like a flat fee per movie kind of a thing?
No, so this is another interesting part. It is based on how much the movie cost to make.
What?
Yeah. So it's based on the budget of the movie.
Weird.
Yeah. So
That's
you get a $13 million budgeted movie. Hell, say they take 1%.
Even 0.5%. That's a huge chunk.
Yeah. Just to get a sticker on the front.
Divvied out over 13 people?
Yeah, bro.
Dang, they be making bank, son.
And 30,000 movies.
Now, granted, you can only serve 7 years, but holy cow.
That's a fat nest egg that you could sit on.
I wonder, how do they come to a consensus?
I don't know.
Obviously, you got an odd number, so that's smart. So you got a tie-break vote.
Sure.
So is it just a majority of the group, between a PG and a PG-13 rating?
I would
assume how that works?
Well, that's another funny thing, too, because originally, I I'm telling you, there's so much information in my noggin over this crap right now. I want to get it all out.
Yeah.
It is super odd. So originally you had G, PG, and then R, and then X.
Right.
So X got pushed to the wayside due to porn.
Correct.
So porn took basically copyrighted XXX.
Interesting.
So since they were using the X, they couldn't use that.
So the porn movie was like, we're not paying you.
We're not paying you.
We'll just make our own.
You're going to have to pay us if you want to use that X title. So
that's funny.
It was the movie was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Weird.
It got an R rating.
Okay.
So Steven Spielberg, I mean, I've heard of him.
Yeah. He's probably
might have a little bit of clout.
He's got a little pull in the industry.
So
some mom from Brooklyn's like, no, sir.
Oh my God. Did you see that? He said, Kali, I ripped a guy's heart out. Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
So
they couldn't get the PG on that.
They couldn't get PG because of the violence. So what happened was Steven Spielberg lobbied and was like, I'm resubmitting it. That is not fair. You need to create a new ranking because there's no way I can have a PG movie with this. So
I gotcha. Yeah.
Enter PG-13.
That's bananas.
PG-13 was created because of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Wow, that's crazy. So in that time period, an R rating for that kind of movie would have been a death nail, probably.
Yeah. So, and now it is anything that gets slapped with an NC-17. It's, man, that is the nail in the coffin. You do not sell anything on that movie.
I see. So you want an R rating.
R rating is the best. And what's even crazier about that is out of the almost 30,000 movies they reviewed, 58% have received an R rating.
Okay, so wow, that's a pretty big majority there.
Yeah, it's quite a few movies.
Weird.
I think it was only 2% have received the NC-17.
Okay.
There's been quite a few. So basically what happens whenever they submit the movie, they get their ratings.
Right.
They're like, nope, I don't like that rating. We're going to cut a couple scenes. We'll resubmit it.
Oh, weird.
So then you're
Paying
them
twice?
twice.
Whoa.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Because you get an NC like Showgirls, Eyes Wide Shut even.
Okay.
Eyes Wide Shut got a NC-17 because of the orgy scene.
Okay.
So they resubmitted and got it bumped down to an R, which helped. Now, Showgirls was just a crap movie anyway.
Yeah.
So the NC-17 of the R rating wasn't going to help the viewership.
Now that show's not an R, or it's not an NC-17, right? It's
not anymore. No,
Okay.
it did get dropped down to an R rating.
weird. So it has to be subjective then?
It is very subjective.
Gosh, that's squirrely.
Here's the other super fascinating thing. If you take the people, you've got 13 people at max. I think right now there's only 9 from what they are telling people. Now,
Weird.
I'm putting everything in quotes because, I mean, just the conspiracy theorist in me is like, no, this is an Illuminati project. So
Yeah, that's strange.
they're just telling the media what they want to hear. But they say there's only 9 right now.
Okay.
So you take, just on average, you say you've got 11 people for 50 years that have reviewed that many movies.
Weird.
But they can only have a 7-year term.
Right.
So, I don't know, you're looking at, what, 350 some odd people?
Yeah, something like that. But even if it was 5 times that number.
But, and that's what's super fascinating.
And then who gets to be in there? Like, how do they pick the folks that get to be in there?
I don't know.
Are they movie people?
I don't know. Well, it says they come from all different backgrounds. You get teachers,
Weird.
you get social workers, you get people that are in finance.
That sounds
So it's
squirrely
like
as all get out.
all different backgrounds. They say currently there are 9 full-time and part-time raters. You get 5 mothers, 4 fathers, come from California, Illinois, New York, Ohio, Maryland, and Hawaii.
Weird.
But the thing that is just super fascinating is this has been going for 50 years with all these different people that have come and gone through the MPAA.
Okay.
And the system is still super rigid and damn near the same.
Yeah.
Like there's basic format, I guess. They got the layout. So I know for a fact if a movie says fuck more than once, instant R rating.
Okay.
If there is an explicit sex scene,
Okay.
and I don't mean like a hardcore porn scene, but if you see some nips and
Nips
some
and butts.
thrustings,
Yep.
then instant R.
So they have some guidelines.
There are some
listed.
basic guidelines,
That's
which
interesting.
I mean, some of them should be fudged, but
I would say most of it's fairly consistent.
that's what I was getting at. Just the consistency over a 50-year span with that many different people to come through the MPAA.
Right.
It's incredibly impressive.
So here's
Unless it's all three people doing the whole thing.
well, that's
womp womp womp.
that's fair. I will say what it sounds like, and I've got 2 points. The first one is it sounds like this was something that people wanted, and the marketplace would demand it. So during a period of time, people were making movies that were more and more risque,
Sure.
more and more problematic.
Yes.
And a movie might be a whole family ordeal. You
Sure.
gotta go to the movies,
Sure.
but you go to the movies and you see, I don't know, early James Bond, and you're like, oh my God, my little daughter can't be seeing this. So you
Sure.
need a rating system. So you beg for that. Well, they come up with this thing. Well, but it's also shrouded a little bit. So it works. But then they're like, well, we can make some money on this.
We can make hella cash off of this.
And then it evolves into this conglomerate
Yep.
of 13 people, 9 to 13 people
Yeah.
doing 500 to 900 movies a year,
Yeah.
making God knows how much off each movie.
Uh-huh.
And if you take a movie to the market with an NR rating,
You're sunk.
yeah, you have to do it.
You cannot.
So it started with necessity, and now it's become, or you started with it being necessary to implement.
Right.
Now it's a necessity to have.
Sure.
You have to have it,
Right. Because that
and
was
they
the
can
other thing
charge
I was-
whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, and that was the other thing I was going to say is like when you see movie trailers or anything like that where it says this film has not yet been rated.
Right. That's
It's
why.
not been rated by the MPAA because they haven't submitted the movie for proper rating.
Okay. Now, in your research, are these guys tied in with any kind of government agency?
No. So this is where my devil's advocate came in because I was like, well, this just seems squirrely.
It is squirrely.
So the original inception of this was due to
Right.
the government
Right.
because
People were complaining.
Yeah, because people were complaining.
Right.
Instead of getting government involvement
Ah.
on regulating Hollywood,
Okay.
the people was like, nah, we got this. So we'll keep it private, bro. Uncle Sam, back that French off, bro. We got this. So, man, it seems squirrely, and then you hear that aspect of it, and you're like, all right, yeah, I back that thing a hundo.
Yeah, like, look, I like private entities.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't want the government involved. Let's get a private corporation, private entity, whatever, to do this.
Sure.
But they've cornered the market in such a way.
Literally.
Where nobody else.
They have monopolized the market.
Oh, that's weird. So monopolies are different, bro. Like, that's a whole different. So we could take them to court, and you and I, we could be the next rating system.
Shit. Yes.
We'll charge a quarter of what they're charging.
Yep.
And we'll give you a better ranking. As a matter of fact, we'll let you slide a little bit under the table. And we'll give you whatever the ranking you want. We don't even care. That's interesting.
NC-17. Oh, you're going to need to resubmit that one.
Yep. It'd just be a couple
What?
100,000 more.
Who was the director? Oh, he makes shit movies anyways. Yeah, that's NC-17. But it's an animated children's film.
Yeah, well, you didn't pay enough. I mean, it just didn't fit the criteria.
There was
Pinewood and
fishnets.
Beezy. We work in mysterious ways. Now, if you got Steven Spielberg, if he'll come on the podcast, then
sure.
we'll
float him a couple freebies.
we'll give you whatever rating you want. How strange. So to me, it's just the number, the
Yeah.
low number of people that is
Yeah.
weird.
And I think maybe they kept it that small just to keep it from getting crazy.
Yeah, and I could see how that would be a little bit contentious. Like the Academy Awards, I think, has almost 10,000 members.
Oh, Lord.
And so that's a lot of votes.
That's a lot of people.
And so I could see how that could be a little time-consuming and worrisome and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, man. 9 folks?
Yeah.
That's a lot of power. How do they handle foreign films?
So...
Because this is a Motion Picture Association of America.
They have to still be submitted. 99% of the time, they're not going to submit them because they're a foreign film, so they get slapped with an NR.
Oh, I see. So NR is the
Not
natural designation if you have not submitted to this
Correct.
organization.
Yeah.
Weird.
That film has not been rated by the MPAA.
Okay.
So usually those are going to be pretty decent.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Food for thought, eh?
Hey, you learn something new every day, and I definitely wasn't expecting to learn that much in this week's Cinemized.
I mean, I'm telling you,
but that's a good one.
I spent entirely too much time delving through the interwebs, reading about this, and the more I read, I was like, "You gotta be shitting me! That's crazy."
I like it, bro. Thanks for doing the research on that.
You're very welcome, sir.
Very fascinating.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, very good. Well, thank you for that, and let us hear if you have any comments or if you have any other information that you could send our way, any kind of resources for us to look into, or good conspiratorial videos. I'd like to see some of them. Although, YouTube's kind of been scrubbed. All those conspiracy videos, they're not there much
They haven't
anymore.
submitted to the MPAA.
Yep, that's a fair point. Let's get out of Cinemize and go on to little Thinky Blinders.
Thank you, blindness.
Oh, Thank You Blinders feels good in the barn at the farm this week.
In the barn at the farm.
So I know y'all can't see the studio, but we've got some curtains hung, which are basically old moving blankets.
Yep.
Because they're super cheap and they do the job.
Hey.
And the goal is, because the barn area we're in, it's pretty expansive, and it will echo like crazy in the microphones.
Yes.
But if we do this, it kind of deadens the space. However, it also keeps in
Smoke.
Beezy's burps and all the cigar smoke. And so it's kind of like this weird little like gangster hangout corner. like when you go in the back of the Italian restaurant and all the gangsters are back there playing poker. Smoke's just lingering, and it fits Thank You Blinders very well.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And on that note, I'm actually gonna spark up this little guy.
Okay, well I'll let you. I'll give you a cutter here.
Thanks, sir.
And you got the little mini lighter there if you want it. And I tell you what, I'll get your question rolling while you're
prepping my stogs.
Prepping your stogie. And if anybody cares, I'm smoking the Wise Man out of the Estali collection, and it's a tasty cigar, very, very good, well-rounded, medium bold kind of a smoke, and the Churchill size is my favorite. Lasts a long time and well worth the money, about $12. And then old Beezy has got his signature Sweet Jane.
Yes.
But it's a new release Sweet Jane. It's a different size. And I believe the tobacco in the middle is different. So cigars are made up of a binder, filler, and a wrapper. And I believe your binder and filler are different than the ones that you've had in the past. All right.
I'll let you know what I think about it.
All right. So, as you know, 4 questions are questions that we kind of banter about beforehand, and we don't do a lot of prep or anything on them, but we at least know each other's thoughts and opinions.
We've discussed the question.
We have, sometimes quickly, but we have discussed them.
Yes.
Thank You Blinders is just the opposite of that. It is blind, and so we'll ask a question of each other. We don't know what's coming, so it's an off-the-cuff kind of answer. So if you hear us kind of thinking out loud for a moment, that's why, because, we're not super geniuses. We're geniuses, but we're just not super geniuses.
Just not like, brr.
Even the old the Miracle Mind guy, he had to think about stuff for a little bit.
Well, I know. I do have to think about stuff a little bit.
And then he went crazy, and neither one of us are going, well, I don't know. We might be.
We could be. We may just not even know it yet.
All right, this is probably going to be an easy one for you.
Okay.
So I would like specifics if you can.
Okay.
When was the last time that you got so frustrated with a video game that you actually quit playing?
Ooh. World of Warcraft.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, it was. So for the last like 3 expansions, and when you buy the expansion, it's a $60 expansion or $50.
It's basically just another game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've bought the last 3 expansions, and then WoW is on a subscription service. So you buy the game.
Oh, weird.
And you have to pay $15 a month to play.
Good grief, $15?
Yeah.
Dang, somebody's banking.
Yeah, Blizzard.
Wow. They should join cahoots with the MPAA and really make bank.
Yeah, no kidding.
Holy cow. All right, so World of Warcraft, open source kind of game.
Yeah. So I've bought the last 3 expansions, and the last 2, or the first 2 out of the last 3, I played for a couple of months, and then life.
Of course.
Couldn't do it.
Right.
And then this last expansion that dropped a while ago, I bought it. I was like, are we going to actually play this? Because if we're going to actually play, then I'll dedicate some time and I'll buy it. And they were like, yeah, we're going to do it hardcore. It's like, cool. So I bought it. I only did a 1-month subscription because I knew we weren't going to play it.
Nice.
And I got in there and I started doing the catch up. And I got halfway through it and I was like, nope. I have 0 patience for this. There's so much crap that's been added.
Right.
I'm so far out of the loop. I don't have the time to dedicate to relearning my character and changing all the crap that's been added and deleted. And I was like, nope, I'm done. I just can't do it.
Crazy.
So
you think your frustration was more lack of time? Like the realization that you just didn't have the time to do it?
yeah. Yeah, that was definitely what it was.
Interesting.
If I had the time, man, I would love to stream.
Okay. All right.
I just don't have the time
It literally-
to be a dedicated streamer.
Yep.
Because these guys are cracking out.
All the time.
Dude, they're doing 24 to 48 hours a week
Gosh, that's
for
bananas.
streaming.
Yep. It's a full-time job.
It literally is. And a lot of these guys that are doing it that religiously are making full-time job wages.
That's so crazy.
Because they get paid good money to do this.
Right.
You'll get game developers that will give them early access codes to do alpha and beta testing of these games.
Right.
And they get to stream the whole thing. And the developers are using this. They're like, hells yeah, get in there and play this game. Let us know what needs to be fixed. Let us know what's awesome, what you like, what you don't like. And then they just build off of that most of the time.
Okay.
You still get some that are just shit shows.
Yeah. I had a thought one time. Now this is early on in the streaming category, like Minecraft was just kind of hitting the shelves and you could find some tutorials on YouTube.
Sure.
People weren't streaming full time yet.
Yep.
But I wish I would have done this in 2012.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I really thought about having a channel called Bad Gamer or something like that. Because I'm terrible at video games, and I thought it'd at least catch on and get me a little bit of following. But
It certainly, shoot, you could still do that today.
Probably
because
could.
people are just, it doesn't matter what game it is.
yep,
Somebody is streaming it.
that's interesting. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I watch stream. Now this, I hate to say this because people probably make fun of me a little bit, like you do, and I really appreciate you holding back as much as you do. But I have a farming game that I love. Like I just crack out on it at night, and I don't have to think about anything. I just ride that combine, bro. Just ride that combine.
Lord.
But I can find 6 different streamers on YouTube that will show me all the tips and tricks on a farming game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, they too have no life.
They definitely. I don't know, man. Some of them doing pretty well. All right, so interesting. The last video game I got frustrated with that I quit that I really want to come back to at some point.
Smite.
Not Smite. That one. I was frustrated with that game when we started.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, the game that I wanted to get into, I got into for a bit, and I had to get out again for that time reason, and also it was too overwhelming.
Can I take a guess?
Yep,
Toss a coin to your witcher.
that is right.
Oh, valley of
It's-
plenty.
There's like 17 inventory screens.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they find all the buttons on the Xbox controller. I don't know how they have enough buttons to get that game done on the Xbox.
Do you like buttons? That
Button
was
castles.
yeah, button castles. So that was a game when it first launched. I was super interested in it
Yep.
because I played Witcher 2.
Okay.
And then Witcher 3 came out, and I was super busy with several other games at that time. And I think it was a year or two down the road, they'd already had the bulk of the expansions out for it.
Right.
And they ran some stupid deal at Christmas. Like, you get the core game and all the expansions for like $10.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to buy that.
Yep.
So I've got it in my inventory. I've just never played it. Well, I take that back. I got about maybe 10 hours into it, and I was like, ooh, boy.
Yep. Yep.
I'm expecting a child like next week. I can't do this.
This is not good. Yeah.
So, Urchanda, if you're out there listening.
Yeah. I tell you, that game in particular, it's one of those games that it will keep track of your hours.
Yeah.
And you can readily see it. And
Yep.
I was like 32 hours in and like 13% through the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I'm a slow gamer, but even then I was like, no, I can't do this. And then the other day I saw online that the Oblivion Online gaming, they're coming out with a whole new expansion, like I think for Christmas or something. It's coming up here soon, or it's already out.
The Elder Scrolls 6?
I guess. And I was like, oh, that looks fantastic. It took me back to my Oblivion and Morrowind days. I was like, oh, it's going to be so much fun. I was like, nope, stop that right in the tracks. Not going to do it, bro. Not going to do it.
I lost college scholarships for that game.
Yeah, that'd be dangerous pretty quick.
Yeah.
Whew. All right.
Yeah.
What you got for me, son?
Well, mine's nowhere near as fun as yours was. I mean, I don't know. I guess it could be considered that way. Just depends on how you handle this question.
Okay.
If you were locked in a room with a gorilla for 10 minutes with only a kitchen knife and pepper spray, would you survive?
I'd spray myself in the eyes and then stab myself in the throat and just get it over with.
Dang, son. Are you hang on, spray yourself in the eyes with the pepper spray?
Yeah, because then
use the kitchen knife to do Sudoku?
No, not Sudoku. The throat. Here's my thought process. If the pain is so bad in the eyeballs, you'll minimize the pain.
The same.
Wow, man, 2 references.
I know.
You'll minimize the pain going into your jugular, and it'll be over real fast. So that'd be my game plan.
Really?
No, not really. How big's the room?
I don't know. Let's go with a typical gorilla cage.
Ooh, like 10 by 12 kind of a thing?
No. Like when they have their gorilla environment.
Oh, like the whole
like at
the
a zoo?
How long do I got to do it?
10 minutes, bro.
Oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. No, wait. Is he agitated?
I don't know. Did you put your finger in his cloaca?
Nope. Haven't come anywhere near him.
I don't know. Let's go with yes.
Okay, all right. So
he's quickly getting aggravated.
Okay.
Because he saw you and he realized, nope, I don't like this guy.
Okay. All right. So he's
off of question 4.
He's the gorilla that like hits the glass with the little kid on the other side. All right. So theoretical situation, somebody gives you a kitchen knife and a can of spray, and then they like hurl you in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I injured in any way?
Nope.
Okay. I think I'm good for 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes, I'm golden.
I don't know about golden, but I think I'd at least get out of the cage alive.
Hell, the baby was kicking it with Harambe before they took him out for what, 30, 45?
Yeah, something like that. And who knows how long he would have survived.
Well, he would have probably become the new Mowgli.
That's how
I'll tell you what happened is that zoo shorted us our generation's Mowgli.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Sons of bitches.
Could have had Mowgli and Baloo right there.
Right?
Could have been
singing
singing
a bear, but
so could have been singing the Gorilla Necessities right there in the San Diego Zoo or wherever it was. So I don't know. I think you look, stick to the edges, back to the edge, back to the to the cage.
Sure.
And keep your peripherals clear. And if it's just you and the gorilla, I think you're okay. Now, here's the variable.
Okay.
What if it's like deer hunting? And you're so bow hunting specifically. So it's a quiet morning. And you got the buck, he's coming in. So let's say he's 100 yards out. You got to get him within 40 yards, 50 yards.
Sure.
So you're quiet. It's still. He hadn't winded you yet. Things are cool. But then, just to your right, a freaking doe walks out, and she spooks, and she sees you.
Oh, God.
And she runs off, and then he's like, oh, God, I don't know what's going on. And then he runs off, and you're like, God dang.
What'd that bitch see?
That's the variable. What if you're with the gorilla and it's just you and him, mono a monkey or whatever?
Monkey and mono.
And from out of your peripherals, you're like, oh, dang. Clever girl. That's the female over there. And she's the one who causes the problem in the relationship. You and the gorilla.
Who's this bitch? You cheating on me, heifer?
You and the gorilla doing okay. But old female comes in and it's game over at that point.
She starts whipping both y'all's ass.
Well, that's a possibility. Me and the gorilla running out at the same time.
Oh, God, I got your back, bro. I got your back.
Harambe.
I told you shouldn't have married her.
Harambe, take the knife. I'll take the spray. Let's go. What if you end up teaming up with the gorilla?
Oh, that's great.
You're like tag team gorilla team, and they're trying to whoop up on a female gorilla.
Yep.
I think I'd be okay for 10 minutes. I really do.
Unless she came at you with a chancla and she was a Mexican gorilla.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
You probably both did.
Yep. Man, that's tough. I'll tell you, I would not want to be in that situation by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I agree.
There's nothing inside of me to be like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. There's no Steve Irwin inside of me at this point.
I do have Steve Irwin because I'm probably going to go out in a blaze. And if he starts bucking up, oh, you better believe.
You going to return that aggression?
You damn Skippy I am. I'm going to strip my shirt off. I'm going primal, baby. I'm going primal. I'm going to come right at him.
Wow.
He's going to get up in my face and be like, boom, flip him the bird. If he doesn't like that, I got the backup right here. Boom, double birds. He doesn't like that one, pepper spray in the face. And then run. So you can't see me. And being that I'm a plumpable feller, I only got about 2.5 minutes of running. So I'm really hoping that pepper spray is a big can.
Yeah, it's a debilitating effect.
A multiple use can of pepper spray.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If that's the case, shoot.
Good to go.
And then the other thing is if he gets bucking up to me and then I call him out and he's like, oh, shit, I'm sorry, bro.
What if he just gorilla hugs you?
My bad. My bad.
What if it's at like 9:58, like you're about to get out and he's sorry and he gorilla hugs you? And then you're defiant. No, then you're defiant and you just stab him right in the stomach, like right under the rib cage.
That was so mean, bro.
He's like, why did you do this
to me? He signs it. As
yes.
I don't like you. You're super annoying. I knew that the instant I met you.
Oh, man, that's classic. Make a wild story in Vegas.
Yeah. Hey, where are you guys going?
Oh, that's good stuff, man.
Oh, man.
Good question. I like that question a whole bunch.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Now, just real quick, we're running along, but how much would it change for different animals?
It would depend on the animal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
if it's a cat, any size cat,
yeah,
spray them, pray them.
Spray and pray.
I'm gonna dump that kitchen knife in as many times as I can.
What if it's Johnny Depp in a retarded tiger costume?
I mean, at that point, Sean's already gonna know I'm in trouble.
That's right. He's gonna do helicopter in
because I'm gonna have a distress fart. Distress fart cloud. It's kind of like the bat signal.
Yep.
He's gonna see it and he goes,
fart smoke signals.
Beezy's in trouble. Avengers assemble.
I would say any cat that's not larger than me, I'd be okay. So even like bobcat, something like that, I'd be okay. I don't want to do it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to do it, but I will.
Nope. Spray, stab, stab, stab.
Okay. All right. What about a polar bear?
Bro, those things are ungodly massive.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people do not realize when it's on TV.
Yeah.
Those things, like, they dwarf Kodiaks.
Yeah. And they're not going to share a Coca-Cola with
you. Hell no, they won't.
They're going to eat your face.
They're going to share a Santa Claus leg with you, and then they're going to finish you off.
Yeah. I don't know. I would take a gorilla over a polar bear.
Oh, any day.
I think I would take
any day.
I think I'd take a gorilla over most any bear. However, I've been closer to a black bear than I have a gorilla. I will say that.
Well, that's true. Now, but that's out in the wild.
Right.
You're not talking about a zoo-kept one who's got pent-up prison tension.
The prison gorillas.
He did his time.
He's out there lifting weights.
So that's what I'd have to do. I'd take that pepper spray and I'd spray in some little prison tats.
There you go.
On my skin so it reddens up, and he knows I'm part of the crew.
Okay, all right. I see a big old 13 on the side of your face. For MS-13. Okay.
I'd take that knife and I'd be like, "Hey, me."
All right.
I just shanked that other gorilla. Took my cornbread. I told him I was going to eat that cornbread.
All right, man. Great. Thank you, Blinders. Let's get out of here and go into some Pastor and the Heathen.
The Pastor and the Heathen.
So, Pastor and the Heathen, OBC's been busy this week putting stuff together.
I told you, dude.
Kind of knocked out the whole episode and had some golden ones. I love the MPAA. And then, as y'all know, the Pastor and the Heathen is just kind of two outlooks on a specific circumstance, or situation. And so why don't you just lay it on us?
All right. So why do skeptics say that demonic possession is just mental illness when in reality, before even doing an exorcism, the Catholic Church does some thorough and very extensive checks for mental illness?
That's a good question. Let me
answer that question with a question.
Well, do you want to go first at all, or do you want me to kind of lead the way on this?
No, you go for it.
Let me answer the latter part of the question. So the Catholic Church does a lot of investigative work now, but they didn't always.
Correct.
And mental illness, quote unquote, hasn't really been in our lexicon of vocabulary, but for what, 250 years at the most?
I think that's even a stretch.
Now, we've obviously had mental problems for forever.
Sure.
But to diagnose it with a medical condition is a fairly new thing in the human condition.
Correct.
So I would say the Catholic Church has learned their lesson in some ways. They've realized that what they were calling possession at one time was actually cognitive disorder or multi-personality disorder or any number of things. However, going back to the first question, why does the skeptic say? I would say it's because it's an easy answer.
Sure.
If you can lump all the possession into, well, that's just mental issues, then you don't have to address the fact or theory that there might possibly be possession.
Sure.
Because if you open the door to, well, there might be some weird stuff going on over here in the supernatural, well, then
you just opened Pandora's box, sir.
Yeah. And that's the world, that's that what if world?
Yep.
That's where I live.
Yeah. It's exciting, isn't it?
I've never seen a possession. I've never seen somebody speaking in tongues I thought was legit.
I have.
That you thought was legit?
Well, no, it was just drunk shit.
Okay, well,
That's
I've definitely seen that.
Close to legit, just drunk as shit.
I see people on Sunday morning doing it that I thought were drunk, but I've never, but I can't say I don't believe in it just because I haven't seen it. So I relish in the world of what if. And I like that. I like looking at stories. I like listening to freaky recordings.
Yeah. There's quite a few of them.
Yes, and I think you're going to bring one up here in a second because we talked about it briefly. I love that world, but if you're rigid in the way that your thought process is, so if you're a hardened atheist, there's nothing out there, there's no supernatural, you cannot accept the fact that there might possibly be the supernatural. You can't accept that. So you have to close that door and just loop it all into purely physical, medical reasons.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, well, then your whole ethos goes out the window.
Yeah.
It all, and I respect the person who can live fluidly between the two. Somebody who can come to the table and say, I don't know. I like that person.
Yeah.
It's the hardened religious person and the hardened atheist that can't come to that meeting agreement. I don't want to, I hate to sound so angry, like I don't want to be around that person, but it bothers me because there's so many things we don't know.
Open your mind, Quaid. Open your mind.
What a great question. What a great question. It gets my zapples riled.
I have had this on my docket of questions since we began this segment. But I was just waiting. I was like, I don't know, that might be a little too on the nose, or I just wanted to feel out how this was going to run for a bit.
Interesting. Okay.
And then I lost it. And then it came back, and I was like, oh, yeah, there you are.
Nice.
You're coming in. I've done some research on you.
Well, what were your thoughts? Well, first and foremost, just right out of the gate, do you believe that possession is a possibility or / a real thing?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised.
For sure.
Okay.
There's all sorts of funky shit that we don't even realize. Hell, we hadn't even explored 85% of our oceans.
Yeah, and they say the amount that we know about the oceans is part and parcel more than we know about the human brain.
Yep.
So who the French knows?
Exactly.
All right, interesting.
So and there's the human mind is a very fascinating piece of machinery.
Correct.
It can do all sorts of crazy. I'm telling you, dude, this week has been so much research. I freaked myself out a bit. I have not read this much since probably college. Well, no, I didn't do any reading in college. Since maybe sophomore year in high school. So I believe there is something out there that could be a little funkified.
Okay.
But I mean, you take note on certain cases. Like, for instance, the possession of Annalise.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a weird one.
You can even listen to some of the audio. And this is the one that we had talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That one is freaky deaky Dutch, bro.
Yep. Did you pull some up?
I have not pulled it up.
I'll tell you what, why don't you just kind of introduce it a little bit? Let me pull this up real quick.
Okay. So, Annalise, she was oh God, it was in the late 70s.
I think that's right.
But her parents thought that she was possessed, and she had gone through several different exorcisms.
Okay.
And they were all quote unquote botched exorcisms because she didn't really change much.
Okay.
Well, so on the last one, things went awry and she died.
Oh, weird.
And one of the things that they kind of looked back and contributed to it for was she was an epileptic.
Weird.
So that doesn't quite fall into the mental illness. I wouldn't say exactly, but it gets funky.
Okay, so I just pulled this up real fast. Annalise Michel, I think it's Michelle. If you ever saw The Exorcism of Emily Rose,
oh God,
it's based on this case, and it says that she went 67 exorcism, 67.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that many.
So obviously, it's not working.
Yeah,
but
you failed.
But she ended up. They killed her.
Like, you're fired.
So all I have is just kind of the blanket YouTube video. It doesn't say what's going on. So I'll just let you listen to just a little bit of it.
Ist nicht unbedingt immer das Beste. Kapiert? Weil
der Teufel größere Macht bekommt.
Ja. Weil der nicht an der Gehorsam ergraut wird. Kapiert?
Und die Dämonen.
Full disclosure, if I were to take my daughter's voice
right,
and throw it in some magic, electronic magic, and drop it down, that's exactly, she sounds like that.
Right. Well, I wish we would have done some research beforehand, because there's a couple of segments of this video that's just like, what the frick, man?
It gets pretty gnarly.
And this was recorded before. I say that. I don't know when exactly it was recorded, but it's before you could just willy-nilly go into some sound editing software and work your magic.
Tweak sounds.
But I don't know. So there's a BuzzFeed Unsolved Network on YouTube. It's got 25 million views, and then this one is from Planet Weird, and it's got almost 1 million views, and it's just the unedited recordings of these exorcisms.
Yeah,
it's funky, man.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of crazy stuffs that go on with that, but I believe her death was actually contributed to some of the stuff that they were doing.
correct.
Caused her to have multiple epileptic seizures.
Correct.
And then just lack of oxygen to the brain.
Right.
She just
Yep. But
kaput.
if you read the whole story from the beginning issues all the way to where the exorcisms actually start, it's even weirder. It's not a cut and dry case on either side. There's
correct.
There's weird stuff goes on however you come into it.
Sure.
And I know we harp on the guy sometime that you ought to go listen to, but Dan Cummins has a Time Suck podcast, and he did an entire episode.
Yeah.
And it's trippy.
Yeah.
Just the backstory and where she came from and how wonderful things were for a bit, and then like all of a sudden she just
super quick decline.
yeah, and nobody could do anything about it.
Nope.
All the medical doctors couldn't do anything, and blah blah blah. And the last resort was the exorcisms,
67.
and obviously that didn't work either. But
So I mean,
good.
do you have any concluding thoughts?
Just I can't fall in either camp 100%.
Okay.
And that's it. I'm skeptical as they get. And I'm like I said, I've never seen one, and I've never been around a case that I thought, oh yeah, for sure. Never seen that. But that being said, I'm not saying that it can't happen.
Sure.
And my question is, at that point, what's possessing a person? If it is an entity, if it is demonic or otherworldly or whatever it happens to be, what's possessing you? What is the purpose of the possession?
It could be the deity.
The dadity?
The dadity. The dadity had finally got fed up with you not listening to all the dead animals.
He sent thousands of dead critters towards you, and you weren't listening for nothing. Yeah.
Well, my concluding thoughts on this is, well, atheists seem to never get possessed. Can you go with me on that one?
Yep. I would agree with
It
that.
really just seems to be heavily devout Catholics.
So religious fervor.
Yes.
Now,
yeah.
could you also make the same case that Catholics are the only ones doing exorcisms?
Well, there's that too.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but
I'm pretty sure it is.
I've been around a lot of Baptists, and not once has any Baptist pastor I've ever been around say, "Oh yeah, I did an exorcism last week."
Well, and from what I recall, in order to have an exorcism performed, you have to get some pretty high up approvals.
Correct.
Like, you got to talk to the archbishops.
Yep.
The archbishops got to talk to cardinals. They got to talk to the dude right below the dude.
Yep. And as far as I know, you have to have specialized training to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like they ship you a book and then you just start reading out of it. You don't just get in a room and you're like, I need an old priest and a young priest to give me this book and I'm going to start reading. It's not like that. I mean,
Chuck Norris, exorciser.
Now, I did not know until I started doing my podcast that there is an actual exorcism booklet.
Oh, nice.
So in Latin, there's an actual exorcism, a Roman Catholic exorcism booklet.
Huh.
And I don't know how long it is or anything like that, but it has all the rituals in it. It has all the things you're supposed to read. And if you go back and you watch The Exorcist or any of those, that's what they're reading out of, is that old book. And so there's like a stylized way to do it. It's not like you get in there and just throw some water on it.
You can't get in there and freestyle an exorcism.
No, apparently not.
That's great.
If you do, you're going to end up throwing yourself down a set of stairs. That's what happens whenever you do that.
Sure. Well, I mean, it would seem to be that to best protect yourself from a demonic possession, become an atheist. or just pick a different religion.
Yeah.
I mean, switch over to the Baptists or Protestants. That's Catholic light. They probably don't have it.
We would probably just say that you're a little bit off kilter and we'd kick you out of the club.
Well, I mean, might I be so bold? What about the cult of the life shippers? We'll take you.
Yeah, we'll take you as long as you're current on your dues.
As long as them dues is paid,
we're okay.
I might have to exercise you out as long as you you scamp on some dues.
Yeah, and if you stay current, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just build you a pod on top of the life ship. We'll just throw
there
you
you
in
go.
there. We'll feed you, and you'll be
good.
fine. You'll be fine.
Good.
You'll be safe from the space lizards.
We're
And-
taking your L-Run Hubbards because them's expensive.
Them's expensive, and you know the demon's going to catch a ride with us one way or the other. So I just figure we'll just bank on it a little bit. It won't hurt nobody.
There you go.
Devil's got all the money he needs. I just try to get a little of that devil scratch.
Get some of that Satan scratch.
I'm glad nobody listens to this podcast because I'd be exercised like, oh wow,
No,
exercise.
dang. Maybe that's that's the demon talking through you.
Maybe so, dude. This episode is super long, but I had a great time.
I have had a blast on this. It didn't
think-
even feel like it was going to be this long.
I think we learned more this episode than we have like maybe all of them combined.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was more research than I've done in the last 20 years. So
That's good stuff, man. I like it. All right, let's do some updates and we'll get on out of here.
All right. We got some news updates for you today.
Kind of like last week, we don't really have any updates. I will tell you guys a little bit of inside baseball, a little bit inside information. Now, we're going to solidify this by next week's episode.
Oh, dude, are you doing some insider trading here?
Kind of.
All right, better be careful, man.
But here's the dealio. So, barring something changing that we don't foresee changing, unfortunately, Coca Cocktails is going to be kind of out the door as a sponsor.
Yep.
We love him. We love that. We love the product.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he's run into a lot of problems with getting the product out.
Yeah.
And it's really no fault of his, but we got people who are trying to order, and they can't because he can't get it shipped. So we're having to kind of switch gears.
Yes.
However, we did receive word/information that Eccentric Brewing out of Midland is going to step into that role.
Woohoo!
So we're thinking by next week we will have some sort of promo code / special for you guys at Eccentric.
This was going to be more of like a work in progress promo.
Yeah, we don't know what it's going to look like yet, but so we're kind of doing away with one and getting the other one in.
Yep.
And this is just the next stage of growth for us, and we're hoping it pays off dividends.
Yeah.
And-
Well, we've already done an episode with those guys.
Yeah, it was great.
It's the only episode we've ever done with a guest,
Yeah.
and much less we did two.
Yes, we did.
Because we're champions, we don't fuck around.
That's right. And 2 guests, not 2 episodes.
Well, 2 guests. Yeah,
But
that's what I meant.
I'm thinking we do some on-location stuff in the future. And
Oh, for sure.
I'm really excited about partnering with those guys. So,
Yeah.
Jamie and Aaron, thank you guys for supporting us and being in our corner and
Yep.
working with us towards this. And we hope that y'all can grow and we can grow all at the same time.
Yeah, buddy.
And so thanks for that very much. As always, check out all of our affiliates. All the links are in the show notes that are provided on your podcast platforms. Just go and check all that stuff out. All the promo codes, all that stuff's in there. The producer's done a great job of compiling all that information. Check out our socials. You can go to the regular Facebook page, Friday Nights with These Guys podcast.
There you
Sorry,
go.
it took me just a second. And then also our private Facebook page, the Cult of the Life Shippers. It's a wonderful place to come and get to know us and get to know kind of the OG folks.
Yeah.
So we're all in there, and we got people that
Noodling around.
Yeah, and basically it's just a meme fest.
Oh,
And,
it is.
It's good times.
There's
Lots
a
of fun.
lot of goodies.
Yep. And I will say this, we're coming up to mid-fall. We're getting into being here for a year, 52 episodes. And
Yeah.
we're really going to have to start making decisions on how we're going to go forward. So here's what I would ask. If you've been with us from the beginning, if you enjoy even half of our content, go to Patreon and throw us $5 a month.
Yep.
I know it sounds like we're just asking for money, and
we
we
are.
are in a sense, but we're trying to build what we can do. And at the moment, it costs us money, which is fine. That's no big deal. We've already committed to that, so that's not a big deal. But we would like to make it bigger, better, and better studio, better equipment, all that good stuff. And so we're trying to make that happen. And I guess you could call this show business, even we don't consider ourselves show people, but it's fickle.
I always saw myself as a show person.
Well, again, that delusions of grandeur really kind of come in. And so we would appreciate it. There's a couple of levels there that will get you the extra episode a month. And again, about to be 2 extra episodes per month. And so we would appreciate you guys going over there and supporting us in that way. And also, if you would leave us a review. If you can't do the financial support, we understand. We're not going to, hog tie or anything like that.
Unless you pay extra for that.
That's true. We definitely offer that service for the right amount. But it doesn't cost you anything but just a couple of minutes of your time to go over and leave a review on the website, fwtgpodcast.com, or on Apple iTunes, even Spotify, all those places that you can give a review. It helps us in the algorithms, and we really appreciate it. Thank you to all the people who've been with us from the beginning, all of our wonderful friends and family that have supported us through this almost year of podcasting. It seems like yesterday that we started, and it also seems like 3 years ago that we started. I don't know how that works, but it does.
Time warp.
That's exactly right. And thanks for all the new folks that are just coming along. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Let us know. You can go over to the website. You can leave us a voicemail. You can send us a message. You can send us an email at theseguysquestions@gmail.com. I don't know why I struggled with that one. I got to write this crap out. I can't remember half of it. And then last but not least, actually this time last but not least.
I know, it's ridiculous. I can't believe you did it.
Big thank you to our spouses, our wives. Y'all are wonderful and beautiful creatures, and we thank you for allowing us the time away from home to fulfill this little dream of ours. And I think we're going to end on a little ponder this.
Yes. Ponder this. In an American desert in 1957, America was testing nuclear bombs. They drilled a 500-foot hole, and at the bottom, they had a nuke. At the top, they sealed it with a manhole cover. Scientists had high-speed cameras and found that the manhole cover was partially visible for 1 frame. The lead scientist crunched the numbers and found that if the manhole cover had survived being launched into Earth's atmosphere, it reached speeds of 125,000 miles per hour. Basically, that means 5 times Earth's escape velocity, which would make it the fastest man-made object ever. America!
So the fastest man-made object ever was a manhole cover. Wow.
I mean, the only way to be faster is just launch yourself off of a nuke with a nuke attached to your ass.
There you go.
So that way when you get up into space, you got nuke fuel behind you to keep propelling you so you can hit max velocity.
I'm going to get old Elon on this, see if he can't make something come out of that.
I'm telling you.
All right, very good.
I love it. Well, that will do it for episode 45 of Fraternize with These Guys. I'm BZ the Heathen.
I am Pastor Pinewood.
We will see you next Thursday at 3 p.m. And remember, an atheist apple a day keeps the demonic possession at bay.
All right, I need a little time for this.
Okay.
Found an article from February of 2021.
Okay.
So just this past year.
Sure.
A Wisconsin woman alleged that her creepy-looking kitty appeared to be possessed by a demon. And the priest came over and was like, yep, there's a dark circle behind him. He's possessed. And said that the cat should be imprisoned and prayed over.
What?
And they did that.
Is this Oregon?
No, it's in Wisconsin. 2-year-old Cornish Rex, apparently.
Good Lord.
The self-proclaimed exorcist.
Oh, so that will happen. So you're saying not sanctified by the Catholic Church?
Not sanctified at all. Now listen, this is the best part. He said that I'm an exorcist and there's a cloud behind your cat. It's a demon, and he's using your cat as a puppet. Gave her the advice and then left, and his parting words were, good luck with your creepy cat.